Hi, I'm Dr. Jeff Kalashewski. Thank you for purchasing the webinar, The Real World of Forensic Psychology, Scientific and Practical Applications. Over the next 13 lessons, we will go in depth and explore the fascinating and complex world of forensic psychology. I am a practicing forensic psychologist, and I have been working as a forensic psychologist for almost 20 years. 7 of those years I was exclusively working in prisons. The one thing that this webinar can offer you that other webinars on forensic psychology available on the internet cannot offer is that I will not only provide you a scientific and academic understanding of concepts and applications in forensic psychology, but I can also provide you a practical appreciation about how a forensic psychologist goes about daily in his or her work. I will reference and talk about specific cases that I have been involved in order for you to have a better understanding of concepts in forensic psychology and how they are applied in the real world. I live and work in Grand Rapids, Michigan, USA. It is snowy and cold right now here. I understand that most of the audience for this webinar will be in the UK, Australia, and Canada. My discussion and presentation of forensic psychology is obviously based on my training and work as a forensic psychologist here in America. However, you will soon discover that the way that forensic psychology is defined, conceptualized, and applied in the UK, Australia, and Canada is quite similar to the way it is practiced and applied here in the United States. The structure of the webinar includes 13 lessons. Typically at the beginning of each lesson there will be a short video clip of a lecture that I did at a college. Then there will be additional footage like this, where I will further expand or examine some of the concepts presented in the lecture. Also, I'll provide new material that wasn't presented in the first lecture at the college. You see that you have a packet of slides that are available. Some of these slides were utilized in the professionally produced video of the lecture included in this webinar, but there are other slides that go more in depth on some of the concepts that we'll be examining, and also there are some slides that provide additional information. Lastly, there will be an opportunity for question and answer sessions with me, possibly Skype. Check with the host company where you purchased the webinar. They should have information on how to schedule or what the schedule will be for these question and answer sessions. Again, thank you for purchasing this webinar. Enjoy. What we're going to do today is we have an hour and a half. I'm going to do an overview of forensic psychology. I'm going to have slides. I'm going to talk about various aspects of forensic psychology. I'm going to show you some specific laws that as a forensic psychologist we have to look to and basically apply components of the statute in order to do the evaluation. I'm going to talk about the roles of a forensic psychologist, and I'm going to try to get through the slides fairly quick. And then what my goal is to get through the slides in the first half and get all the information dumped on your heads, right? And then for the second half of the lecture, open it up for questions. So what I'd ask is that if you have questions, kind of jot them down. And then when I get through all the slides, because a lot of times I found in these types of environments, and being in that seat as well, I tend to learn more from the questions. And sometimes one question comes out and it fosters other discussions and questions. So I'm going to try to run through the slides first, hold your questions, and then at the end we'll go through them. I hope I don't burst any bubbles. We're going to talk about the real world of forensic psychology, not the Hollywood version. I'm sorry to disappoint. You won't have a gun and you won't be running around in police cars after serial killers. You can do a little bit of that, but no guns. You don't get a gun, okay? Sometimes I show a clip of this movie, Kiss the Girls with Morgan Freeman, and he walks out with his badge. He says, "I'm a forensic psychologist." I don't know if anybody saw that. It's an older movie. But no guns. Another thing I want to talk to you about is I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I do in my day-to-day job and sort of show you the kind of practical aspects of being a forensic psychologist. Now, warning. Every day, all day long, I talk to naughty people about horrible, awful things they do. So I have become really desensitized when I have these discussions. So I'm really trying hard to understand that I have an audience that doesn't talk with people who rape people and kill people every day. So I don't want to sound insensitive in some of the things we may talk about. Some of you may have personally dealt with. I don't want to make light of some of these awful things, but some of the things we might talk about, particularly if people have questions about cases, or some of the case examples that I might use might be kind of disturbing. Like I said, I'm working on not talking about it so casually. If after the talk you have any type of reactions, or if you get emotional, please come and see me, okay? Not at my practice, come see me after, okay? And we can talk a little bit if you're having a hard time. It hasn't happened yet, but there's a possibility. So I just want to warn everyone, some of the topics we may talk about may be kind of disturbing, all right? All right. A good place to start when you're going to have a discussion about an area in any science, particularly psychology, is to start with a basic definition. So the basic definition is for forensic psychology is the application of psychological science within the legal system. Now, there are other examples of forensic. Don't you love these pointers? They're so cool. We used to have a big wooden stick we used to point with, but not anymore. Love technology. Other examples of forensic. So forensic pathology. That would be, for example, doing an autopsy and trying to find out the cause of death. Because when you find out the cause of death, that could end up in a legal situation, right? Forensic science. That's the stuff like CSI stuff. Blood splatter analysis, hair analysis, DNA analysis. Right? So anytime we're using, well, it's kind of general science in the forensic setting, or science in court, then it becomes forensic. Forensic dentistry. What? I met a forensic dentist once. Guess what they do? They identify remains. So if there's remains of a body found, right, they'll get the dental records. They also do some work in bite mark analysis, right? Forensic accounting. The FBI does a lot of that kind of stuff, right? If you're cooking the books in your business and you're not following standard accounting principles, a forensic accountant can come in and they can use evidence that they gather through analyzing your records to use it in a legal situation.